Sarah, your socially awkward seller, and I'm here with s'mores today to talk to you about living in a thrift desert and what your alternatives are. And I've talked about this topic before, but a subject or a question came up in a large Facebook group, reselling Facebook group, about outsourcing clothing when you live in an area that you can't buy higher end clothing. And this person was speaking directly about clothing. Of course, you guys know how I feel about clothing. But I just thought that, would you sit still? I just thought we'd talk about what you can do if you don't have thrift stores that are sufficient to thrift in your area. So first of all, let's talk about the outsourcing aspect. She wanted people to basically source the clothes for her and she would pay for them, but she hadn't outlined like how that would work. And I see in my brain, not because I'm a pessimist, right? Not because I'm a pessimist, but because I know how things can go madly wrong when you don't think things through. I saw a lot of problems with that. For example, you'd almost have to work with somebody that was a clothing seller so that you could be very clear and be very understood about, you know, things like brand, style, sizes, quality, all of that. And you'd also have, there's a lot of crap going on. My clock's going off. This horse is going crazy. But anyway, and this horse, somebody bought it, and I'm just letting it run to kind of watch, make sure everything functions okay. And I just thought it would be funny so you could see how freaking creepy this thing is. Right, s'mores? Right? See? S'mores agrees. Anyway, so, you know, you'd have to talk to this person about how much you would be willing to pay. Are you paying a flat rate per item? Are you paying, like, you know, a percentage? Are you paying a bulk rate? How is that going to work? And I see a lot of problems with that. And then, what are you going to do when they buy stuff that doesn't meet your criteria that they can't return? That's a huge issue. Also, like, how do you pay this person? Do you pay them after you've gotten the clothes and inspected them? You know, there's a lot of issues that I see with this. And I honestly wouldn't recommend it, but you could do it in a way that it would work. But you would have to work out every scenario that could go wrong. Do you have to do that, Mayor? Anyway, to make that work. So I came up with some other ideas of where you can source if you live in a thrift desert, and you know, how you can still be successful. Now again, seriously, again, I mean, I don't sell clothes, but this will work for any items actually. And I'm just going to give you some ideas, and that's what I thought I'd talk about briefly today. So of course, yard sales. It's still yard sale season, and in some of the areas of the country, it hasn't been yard sale season because it's been too hot. So their yard sale season will be coming up. But yeah, definitely during yard sale season, that's the time to stock up on items. If you know that you're in an area where you just can't get items the rest of the year, that's a great place. And don't be afraid to look at estate sales. Not every estate sale is priced out of your budget. Estatesales.net is a great place to find local estate sales, and you can set it up so that it will alert you when there's a an estate sale, let's say within 50 miles of your address or whatever. Are we done? So another thing is auctions. There are a lot of metropolitan areas that have online auctions. So maybe you can bid on those and either have them shipped to you. Sometimes that's an option, or you can you're able to go and drive to get those items. I've sourced a lot of items that way that I got for really good prices. I just had to end up driving 20 or 30 minutes to go pick them up. Storage unit auctions, also a good way to buy bulk inventory, and it will be a mix of inventory. I caution you, if you're going to do storage auction, storage auction lots, units, I can't even talk, storage unit auctions, let's use those words, that you make sure that you have thought through how you're going to move larger items like furniture, because a lot of these units do have furniture items or appliances in them, and you know how you're going to get rid of the garbage, because there is going to be a large percentage, there's going to be, assume that there's going to be 25 to 30% garbage in the storage unit, just things that aren't fit for resale. Flea markets are also a great place to source. Now, there's not a flea market close to me, but there is one within 45 minutes. That's something that you go and you take the day and you try to source items. That can be a great place. Also look at your local websites. Facebook Marketplace, Let Go, Offer Up, 5 Mile, and there are many, many, many more. There are many more. Are also great places to source items, because sometimes people just want to get rid of stuff. They're selling it in lots, Craigslist as well, and they're willing to sell it for a good price, or just by parting it out, you could make a substantial return on your investment. So that's another thing to consider. You have to kind of watch for those, but you might be able to set up some notifications so that when an item becomes available for sale, it may send you a notification. I'm sure that if Facebook Marketplace does not have that implemented already, that will be something that they'll be working towards. Another thing that you need to not overlook when you're looking to source items other than thrift stores is eBay. There are some really cool tools that you can use to find auctions on eBay, and I don't remember them off the top of my head, but there are some that will help you look for misspellings, words that are misspelled, prominent words like an important brand name that gets misspelled will not get searches, so it may not sell. So there is a site that you can go to, just Google it, and it will help you search for items that are misspelled. You can also use some sniping websites where you can go in and bid on things at the last moment and get them for the cheapest price. Finally, another place that you can look are consignment stores. If you have consignment stores in your area, sometimes those will yield you some good buys because they do have sales as well. So consignment shops that carry, mostly they're going to carry clothing. Not always, but most of the time they're going to carry clothing. But you can find, where they've run sales and you can buy things at 50% off. And you end up getting them for practically the thrift store price anyway. And typically, consignment stores will only accept clothing that is fashionable, decent brands, and in good condition. So that puts you ahead of the pack sourcing anyway, because, shopping at shopping at Goodwill is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get unless you stand there and inspect every bit of that while you're there. So I just wanted to bring up those things. And let's say that you're not willing to do any of those. Well, first of all, this business might not be cut out for you, because you're going to have to always be willing to diversify and look in other places for inventory, buying pallets, and you can buy clothing pallets, but you know, just closeouts, whatever. Look for other places to buy inventory. If you're not necessarily the clothing seller, but you are still struggling to find good resellable items, don't overlook your markdowns. Your markdowns at your big box stores. Home Depot had these great LED lights this morning that were marked down from like $20 to $5. And, you know, there could be some great resale on those. I just bought them for the house because I liked them. But anyway, you know, go through your local discount stores like Walmart and Big Lots, and see what they've got on clearance and on markdown, because those might be food items. You know, you can resell food items on eBay as long as you're within the expiration dates and the customer will receive the item within the expiration date. And you know, food items I find do pretty well if they're unusual. You know, I sold some peppermint pretzels after Christmas last year because they weren't available everywhere anymore, and now I'm petting this friggin' horse. It just comes to life after a while. So it's as annoying as a real live horse, aren't you? So I just thought I'd bring to you a few ideas. I'll be so glad when you're gone, really. You know, you ready to ride off into the sunset? No? Yeah, we're going to go right off into the sunset. And I will see you the next time. So just just remember that the dream works when you do. So keep dreaming and keep working. And I'll see you the next time.